I think a great place to start this conversation is to explain what Sanatan Dharma or Hinduism is to people who have not grown up in India.
Okay. Uh, a short answer to this would be there is a multiplicity of philosophies, paths, and deities which have organically developed in this specific landmass we call India, and they have been tied together by a larger philosophical string that passes through the different beads of a mala. Like if you are wearing a necklace, there's a string that passes through. So there is an organic philosophy that connects all of these together. So there is one reality, let's call that reality as Brahman, or the Atman, or the self, or something that is both saguna, which is it has qualities in it, as well as nirguna, which is beyond qualities.
This is what the West calls God and the world calls the divine.
Divine, yes, but God, let's not bring God right away. God is equivalent to what we call Ishvara, where this Brahman takes on a kind of a divine personality. Okay. So Brahman is not with or without a personality. It is something that we can imagine and something that we cannot even imagine. It's beyond human imagination. It covers everything, yet it is beyond everything. Next, worshipping of the Brahman is a little difficult for most people because you need to have a soul that has already gone through all the cycles of birth and rebirth, and your karmas, your desires have been fulfilled. So there's nothing else that you want. So that is why there is this philosophy that say neti neti, which means that you say that not this, not this, not this. When you remove everything, that which is left, beyond which there is nothing, that is the ultimate reality. Now, this is the perspective of the sannyasis, monks who have given up life. So they want their perspective to be that of the Brahman, which is a very neutral perspective. Neutral means it is completely unbiased. It sees good and bad, day and night, dharma, adharma, everything in a kind of a balanced way. Just close to this, but something that has formed, saguna. Saguna is one of the word guna means qualities, something that has a quality. A name also is a guna. So there are these cosmic beings we call devatas, deities. Lord Shiva, Durga, Ma Durga, Kali, Bhairava. These are deities. Okay, these are very fantastic beings, almost in the realm of the Brahman only. That we worship these beings, and when we worship these beings, they have their own innate qualities and specific nature. So the worship is tailored according to their nature and qualities, and accordingly they may provide certain of those qualities as blessings to us. So to put it mildly, Hindu would, if I have to worship, say, uh, if wealth is an issue for somebody, they may worship Mother Lakshmi, Goddess Lakshmi. She's the deity of the wealth. Okay, if we worship Bhairava, for example, he removes fears from an individual, so you become stronger inside. Okay, if similarly, if you want wisdom, for example, you might worship Saraswati, or you might worship even Neela Saraswati, which is the tantric form of deity, tantric paddhati of deity. So basically, there is a collection of these great grand gods, deities we have. Each of them have their own gunas and tattvas. Gunas means qualities, and tattvas is the fundamental essence. Okay, and the worship methodology is based on these qualities of the deity. So, which means when we are worshipping, we are trying to get close to the devata, to the deity. Devata is the term we use. It's a deity. So, if you're worshipping Shiva, you offer Bel Patra, you do Abhishekam of the Shiva Linga. If you're worshipping Vishnu, you offer Tulsi. I'm just saying in a very simple manner. So, if you're worshipping Devi, you do homas, and there are other things you offer. Depends on the deity. So, it is the worship methodology is designed based on what is it that the deity likes, and we follow accordingly. So basically there's a democracy of choice among the followers of Sanatana Dharma based on what they want and their own nature. So somebody may want to worship Krishna because that's perhaps what resonates with him. Somebody may want to worship Hanuman, somebody may want to worship Tara, Ugratara. Okay, it depends on what resonates with you, because the rishis are the ancient masters who saw the Vedas first, noted them down, kind of. They saw them means the Vedas are supposed to be eternally existent in the ether. Okay, it's not that they composed it, they saw it, and there is an occult transmission that happens, and then they pass it on to their shishyas and others. So they are the greatest of the masters. Our whole Hindu dharma is based on the rishis. Whichever deity it may be, whichever path of sadhana it may be, it is the rishis who have given us these paths. Okay, so this is very, very briefly speaking how we understand the dharma. Sanatana dharma understands religion to be, and the question comes: why do you worship deities? Because it transforms you eventually from a human condition to a divine condition.
Okay. Transforming into a divine condition or into the next stage of consciousness is what I believe the goal of Sanatan Dharma is.
Correct.
Sanatan Dharma is what Hindus call Hinduism.
Right.
The question I have for you is, how would you explain what modern day Hindu life is to a foreigner? For example, with Christians, they go to church. They have their own prayers. In Islam, there are rules. You have to do certain things in the course of your lifetime. You have to live your life a certain way. What is the Hindu equivalent of that? I think there's very few rules that are followed by every single Hindu.
Right.
And the West knows certain rules about Sanatan Dharma, which is that we don't eat beef,
Correct.
that we have multiple gods,
Right.
and that this is a mystical faith. I think that's pretty much what most of the West understands about Sanatan Dharma.
Correct.
Would you disagree with me? And or the next question was, what would you like to add to this?
Well, I completely agree with you. So, basic idea, as I just explained, is that there is a democracy of choice that's given to the followers of the dharma, Sanatana dharma, and accordingly, one can choose. So, there is no compulsion that you have to worship X deity or Y deity or different other deities. So, according to the devata that you want to connect to, there are certain rules in which you proceed, and you follow those rules, and you practice the path of upasana. And also there is the other thing, that our dharma is basically not, it's not a monastic dharma, which means that everybody has to become a monk leaving society. No, there are people who will become monks, sannyasis. So there is a stage of life we call the ashrama. Ashrama has different stages, where there's brahmacharya and this and grihastha ashrama and this and that. At the end, you go into what is known as sannyasa. So when you have kind of experienced life in a full and wholesome manner, then you may decide, okay, now I retire from life and I pursue that ultimate goal of being one with the Brahman.
But not everyone actually does that in modern day India.
Correct. And it is not even compulsory that everyone has to do that. There is another misconception that people may have, because it may seem like, you can do whatever you want type of thing. But that's also not true. So when you are engaging in the upasana of a deity, then the rules according to which the upasana has to be done, that are fixed. You cannot change that. So, for example, the restriction of on consumption of beef is universal across all sampradayas, all branches, all methods of worship. So, whether it is the Vedic method or Tantric method, that is a non-negotiable. That's a clear border. Okay. Then accordingly, if you're worshipping Shiva, then there maybe you have to offer Bel Patra. You cannot just, randomly change to something else and say that, oh, it's just about bhakti. No. So those rules are important, because those rules help you to realize the deity. Okay. So that is the key idea, in my opinion, when so far as the upasana paddhati is concerned. So an average Hindu may have his Ishta Devata, a deity he likes best. Ishta means good, the deity that does good to you. Somebody may be a Ganpati Upasaka. Upasana means basically somebody is doing worship of the deity. Somebody may be a Bhairava Upasaka. Somebody may be a Durga Upasaka. So you follow the rules of the method by which you can approach the deities.